I'm Kate Kelly with America Comes Alive, where you'll find great stories simply told.
If anyone searches for who invented the ice cream cone, the most common answer has been that the cone was invented by Ernest Hamwi in 1904 at the St. Louis World Exposition. But if you look a little deeper for an answer, you'll find that the cone was first created by Italo Marchiony, a lemon ice vendor who sold ices from a pushcart on Wall Street. He actually holds the first patent. An article written for the Hoboken Historical Society by the ice vendor's daughter explains the confusion. Her article opens with the story of her father selling ices on Wall Street. At that time, the men used small glass dishes for each serving. The customers were expected to give the cups back to the vendor once they were empty. The dishes were then washed and reused. But many of the Wall Street traders wandered off with their cups. Breakage was also a problem. Marchiony wanted to come up with an edible cup for the ices. Beginning in 1896, Marchiony spent nights in the family kitchen experimenting with waffle making. He found that if he folded the waffle into a cone while they were still warm, they retained their shape as they cooled. At work, his invention was a big hit. He now needed a way to produce cones more quickly. Hand making them one at a time was laborious. In her article, his daughter explains how he invented a mold that allowed for cooking 10 cones at a time. He received his patent in 1903. So how did the legend grow that the inventor was Ernest Hamwi, a Syrian waffle vendor at the Exposition? The explanation is that Ernest Hamwi was simply helping out a new friend. Marchiony traveled to St. Louis and rented a booth to sell his ice cream cones. He could make up fresh batches of ice cream each night, but he couldn't keep up with demand for the waffle cups. When he realized his problem, he talked to Hamwi about rolling some of his Syrian-style waffles while they were warm. That worked perfectly. So there's the answer. The first ice cream cones were sold from a pushcart on Wall Street. However, these sweet treats gained wide exposure through the St. Louis Exposition. Ernest Hamwi was the helpful fellow who gave Marchiony a hand. After the Exposition, Italo Marchiony established a cone-making factory. He also built up a fleet of street vendors to sell his sweet treats. At one point, he had 45 street vendors out selling his ice cream cones on the streets of Manhattan. Marchiony retired in 1938, and his ice cream brand was ultimately acquired by Schrafft's.
I'm Kate Kelly with America Comes Alive. Look around and see what inspires you.